Welcome back, students, in continuation of our online class series and chapter number 5, that is the fundamental unit of life of class 9 general science. As we have talked about cell, the different types of the cells, that is the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell, and the difference between the prokaryotic cell as well as the eukaryotic cell, as well as we have also talked about the plant cell and the animal cell, and we have also talked about the generalized structure of the cell. Now today we are going to talk about what is cell membrane, and not cell membrane. Basically we have talked about a lot of the cell membrane. Today we are going to talk about what is cell wall and what are the various functions of cell wall. Cell wall, as we all know, that cell wall is not present in all types of the cell. Basically it is not present in the animal cells, but it is very much present in the plant cells, the cells of the fungi and the bacterial cells. The cell wall is present in plant cells, bacterial cells and cells of fungi. When we are talking about the plant cells, the cell wall, it is basically made up of cellulose. When we are talking about the bacterial cell, it is made up of different type of the substances. Maybe it is made up of pectin and cellulose, maybe it is made up of hemicellulose and different type of substances. So it is made up of a large number of substances, depending upon the type of the bacteria and depending upon the habitat of the bacteria that it is living in. And when we are talking about the cells of the fungi, basically it is made up of chitin. So the basic structure, the basic function of the cell wall is to provide a particular structure to the cell. Next, to provide rigidity to the cell. Rigidity, as we all know that it is a very tough substance, therefore it very well provides rigidity to the cell, and it also provides a basic structural plan to the cell. Then third, when we are talking about the third property of the cell wall or the third function of the cell wall, it provides mechanical strength to the cell. Basically the plant cells, the bacterial cells and the cells of the fungi, they are all the cells which are very much exposed to the harsh environmental conditions, and therefore to protect them all from these harsh environmental conditions, the cell wall, it plays a very major role, since it protects the cell by providing them with the mechanical strength so that they can withstand the various harsh environmental conditions, like the hazardous various extremities of the environmental conditions. As we can already see that the bacterial cells, though they are unicellular in nature, but they are having a wide area of habitat, that is they are found in the hot water springs, in the saline water, in the acidic medium, everywhere we can find them out. So that is the very basic thing behind the bacterial cells, that they are having a wide variety of habitat, that their cells, they are enclosed by the cell wall. This basically cell wall, it enables them to survive in every kind of habitat. So that is what mechanical strength means over here. Then to prevent the entry of various not microorganisms, I would say various foreign particles. It can include anything, foreign particles inside the cell. Basically, it acts as a barrier to stop up every foreign particle that is not required within the cell. But we can't say that it is impermeable. Though it is very much permeable, it is semi-permeable, and it of course allow the entry and exit of various metabolites in and out of the cell. But still, it resists the entry and exit. It resists the entry basically of the various substances inside the cell. So these are the varied functions of the cell wall. Now talking about a very important thing, as in our previous video we have talked about the various type of the solutions, and depending on them we have also talked about the hypotonic solution, the isotonic solutions, the hypertonic solutions, and depending upon them we have talked about the procedures of osmosis, that is the X osmosis and the N osmosis. So here again, when a cell it is present in a hypotonic medium, basically a plant cell, when it is placed, this is the plant cell, so when it is placed in a hypotonic medium, this is the cell wall, then this is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane or the plasmalemma, and this is the nucleus containing various type of them chromosomes. This is the cytoplasm that is filled within it. So this is all about the cell. So when a plant cell it is placed inside a hypotonic medium, then what happens? X osmosis occurs. That is, the water content or the water particles are going to move outside the cell through the cell membrane and the cell wall. Here X osmosis is going to take place. So as soon as X osmosis is going to take place, means the water content from the cytoplasm is going to decrease. So what will happen? The cytoplasm is now going to get shrinked, and as a result of that, what happens? Due to the shrinking of the cytoplasm, cell cytoplasm, what happens? A space or a gap is formed between the cell cytoplasm as well as the cell wall, and this very process is known as plasmolysis. So when we are talking about plasmolysis, plasmolysis is a process of formation of a gap between the cell cytoplasm and the cell wall due to movement of water outside the cell. This is the definition of plasmolysis. What is it? It is a process of formation of a gap between the cell cytoplasm and the cell wall due to the movement of the water outside the cell. But it's not a permanent procedure, it is a temporary procedure. If this cell is again placed in a hypertonic medium, then what happens? That the water particles, they are going to enter from outside to inside the cell. As a result of this, what will happen? The volume of the cell cytoplasm is going to increase, and as a result of that, the cell cytoplasm is again going to adhere to the cell wall. So again the cell is going to be deplasmolized. This is the whole procedure of cell being shrinked as well as cell being deplasmolized, that is being plasmolized and deplasmolized. So here we can see this with the help of an experiment also. We have to take our rheo leaf, rheo is a plant, and then what we have to do? We have to peel the upper epidermis of the rheo leaf, and then we are going to put the rheo leaf on a glass slide. Now we are going to stain it and then we are going to observe it. After observing it, what we are going to do? We are going to put certain amount of the hypotonic solution onto the glass slide where this leaf epidermis is placed. After certain time, again we are going to observe that. What do we observe? That the plasmolysis process has taken place. How? That the water contents from the cell cytoplasm, they have moved out from the cell to the outside, that is the external medium. As a result of that, cytoplasm has shrinked up and a gap has been formed between the cell cytoplasm as well as the cell wall. So here what to say, plasmolysis has taken place. Now we are going to set up another set of experiment. What we are going to do? We are going to take a few leaves of Rio plant, and then what are we going to do? We are going to boil them in certain amount of water. After boiling them in certain amount of water, we are going to again peel up the upper epidermis of the Rio leaf, and then we are going to put it on a glass slide. After that, we are going to stain it, and again we are going to put certain drops of hypotonic solution onto the glass slide. Then what are we going to observe? Again here we are going to observe that there is no plasmolytic event taken place. What do we infer from this? We infer that plasmolysis is a process which takes place only in the living cell and not in the dead cells. Since it has taken place in the first set of experiment, that was living, and when we have boiled up the leaves, the cells of the leaves, they became dead, as a result of which the process of plasmolysis has not taken place. So this is all about the process of plasmolysis and what are the function of the cell wall and what is the cell wall basically made up of, and what is the function of the cell wall in varied type of living organisms. Now we are going to talk about the nucleus in our next video. Thank you.